So, good morning, everyone. Again, so we have the next speaker, expert for this today's session. He is Dr. Sandip Patil, and then uh, uh, little more. That means we have been together at IIT Kanpur, and he was very innovative person, and then he always had different perspective. And so some of the that's the reason now he is the founder and CEO of this eSpin Nano-Tech company. And then so I will a little bit introduce more about him, and then it will be very motivating about if you know about Sandip Patil's background. It is really encouraging to me as well, and then so it should be encouraging to everyone. So it is often said that one can create his her own luck, but it is difficult to believe in luck when you are in situations similar to Dr. Sandip Patil. So Sandip was raised in a small mud house in Pimpri, a village in Maharashtra. His illiterate parents worked as contract laborers, and Sandip and his siblings often went to bed hungry. The village he lived in lacked basic healthcare and education facilities, and Sandip struggled to get good education. But if someone looks at how successful he is now, it is easy to assume that he has a privileged childhood. Sandip is a founder and director of eSpin Nano-Tech, a Kanpur-based company that makes nanofibers for cancer diagnosis, optical sensors, air filtration, and other uses. The company now makes over 2 crore a year and is on track for rupees 10 crore this year. This is money Sandip couldn't even begin to comprehend as a boy who grew up watching his parents struggle to put food on the table. Now the same boy has turned into village celebrity. So I will introduce about his a little bit about his this research and other credentials. Dr. Sandip Patil has received PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, India. His research work has been published in various international journals of repute. He has patents in the field of nanofiber technology and adhesion technology. Based on his PhD work, Dr. Patil started this startup we are talking now, eSpin Nano-Tech, in 2010. Today, he is recognized as successful entrepreneur in the field of nanofiber spinning technology. Under his leadership, eSpin Nano-Tech developed various nanofiber-based commercial products for air filtration and purification. Dr. Patil is awarded Bangalore Nano Innovation Award, Technopreneur Information Program Award, IICHE Saha Suman Award, IICHE MP Cherry Memorial Medal Award, Spirit of Manufacturing Award for Most Promising International Business Leader, Indian Leadership Award for Industrial Development by All India Achievers Foundation, Rajiv Motwani Young Entrepreneur Award by Rajiv Motwani Foundation USA, Indian School of Business Hyderabad Scholarship Award, and ICT Jalgaon Alumni Award for Young Entrepreneur. Sandip has been in various media news, and PM Modi has also mentioned his company eSpin's name in Man Ki Baat. So we welcome Dr. Sandip you for this particular session, and these participants basically they are various backgrounds. So I request you to keep the little bit less technical, so everyone can enjoy the talk and they can get more benefit. So thank you, Sandeep, for accepting our request for this session, and we welcome you to begin with. Thank you. So please.
Namaskar. Thank you, Dr. Ashok, for giving such a nice introduction. So, should we start?
Yeah.
Yeah, Namaskar. Thank you so much for such a nice introduction, Dr. Ashok. It has been a year that I could able to see your face on the TV now and on the computer. It was like, more than a year. Yeah. So I'll share my presentation. Okay. Is this fine? Can you see this?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yeah. So, namaskar and good morning, everyone. It's a nice time to talk. Everyone is like, though we cannot interact facially, but of course, this innovation of digital era is giving a lot of platformers to interact with each another. So we can share our innovations with each and every individual of Indians. uh, when the subject was given that time, we are mostly a technocrats, so we always do a technology innovation first and the market research later. Okay, but the subject was came to me, and I have been told that I have to talk on the market trend of today's scenario. So I have decided to have the subject related to innovation and recent market trends. And what is requirement is today is the personal protective equipment. Okay. This is a necessity and necessary requirements of our today's life. Whenever we go out, we always have a mask in hand rather than mobile in hand. Okay, so we always fail to touch the mobiles, but we always have the one safety parameter or maybe something which we always pick the mask first and go out. But this was the time was very fast. This situation not the same as the 6 months back. So before I talk about anything related to this PPE and nanofiber technology integrated with the personal protective equipment, I'll give you a little brief about the company. So this is the team. Basically, we have people of around uh, 5 people is team members, and then people, many employees, they engineers and the other people who work together. Myself, as a company, we started. My wife, Jagrati Patil, Dr. Sunil Gole is a technical director in the company. Then Dr. Sri Kumar Vedu is R&D head and director of the company, and Nitin Charati is also a product development director. So So this company is basically a spin-off company of IIT Kanpur. We started in 2010. So let me give a little brief about the company. So this is basically a company which works specifically only on the nanofiber technology. Where we started, I have developed the first machine in my lab in 2008, and that called is nanofiber spinning technology. The idea is to use that machine for my PhD. When the machine was developed, the machine was working fantastically good in the lab. So we have decided to commercialize it. And that was the time when I was doing a PhD in between my PhD. I told my professor that I have developed this machine and I want to commercialize it. And I want to do immediately, commercialization. But I have to wait until my PhD to be finished. So his answer was very clear and motivational. And he said, anyway, your PhD will be completed soon within a time frame, whatever is required. But you start your company in between. So that will give you the one more platform, project yourself and the innovation in the different way. So that's how the company started. And by the way, my professor, he's today DST secretary, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, who was my guide, and he's still guiding me in different ways. And the company is today a company considered to be an emerging leader in high tech enterprises, basically a pioneer in the field of nanofiber technology. We do a lot of work related to filtration technique, and we are applying this nanofiber technology for the various applications. And this we have patented many patents related to nano and the adhesive technology, and then we are using those patented technology for the preventive healthcare and nanotechnology domain. We are coming up with a manufacturing setup where the nanofiber will be coated on a very large area. So it will be a continuous nanofiber line where you can coat thousands of kilometers, or maybe you can say thousands of meters nanofiber layer on the surface of any kind of substrate, where it can be easily coated, nanofiber can be coated, and that will be used for the various nanofiber applications, including air filtration. And then we slowly build up our company offices, we can say, in South Korea, North America, and in Calgary, Canada. So what is the challenge today? Today challenge everybody one facing is that the COVID is the basically challenge. this is the pandemic today, and it is destroying a lot of things. But at the same time, we are gaining a lot of things. It is not something that this is the problem that we are facing, but every problem has the challenge and the solution. It depends what you accept. Are you accepting? I mean, we are accepting as a bad situation or good situation. But in terms of us, like we always accept this kind of situation as a good situation, or maybe good convert the problem to the solution, and that solution can be converted into the revenue generation model, or maybe can be a business model. So today's challenge is the basically a COVID-19 virus, and the COVID-19 virus, though we have stopped many companies, but at the same time, the companies who never thought who will work in the area of PPE, and they started productions. I mean, none of the company, you can see, you can take multi national companies, they even started manufacturing a mask, but not only a mask. They have started manufacturing of different grades of masks, kill the virus and the bacteria. So one era of innovation is to create a novel fabric to use for various applications, which we never thought that India will start a smart fabric fabrication immediately, and that has happened within 6 months of time. So considering that, providing what is the challenge and the demand? The demand is, of course, masks, PPE kits, then and sanitizers. These are the demands. And what are the challenges are involved? Challenges are basically providing safe solution to the mankind. And what are the safe solution? N95, N99 respiratory mask, PPE kit, face shield, and sanitizers. And what are the requirements for those particularly? Research requirements are mostly innovative and scalable, highly effective solution, commercially viable. Then innovation challenges are basically affordable to everyone, economically viable, and high volume production. So affordable to everyone is basically, it is not something that we should buy a N95 and N99 mask at a very high cost. Then in that case, only the people who has the money, they could able to buy it. But what about the people who really don't have money? They also need a safety. Okay. So the solution should be very affordable to everyone. The innovations that should be affordable to anyone. Of course, economically viable. Whatever we do, that should be economically viable. That should reach each and every individual. And high volume production. That is how the China is in successful. They do whatever they do. They do a high volume production. It is not something that they are just producing 10,000 masks and that's it. No, they are producing more than million masks per day. So that is basically a target. It should be a high volume production. So here is the global graph. Basically, uh, the global personal protective PPE revenue scale, and in this clearly mentioned is that the billions. I mean, like let's consider 2016 to 2020. You can see the revenue model, and it is a linear graph. So we never expected that it will go in such a linear way that by the 2020, 2022, it will be a $57 billion revenue model. And we already started in that direction particularly. In this particular $57 billion revenue, what India is adding into it? If you see this graph, this is taken from the Invest India report, where they have reported PPE capacity per day. If you can see here, PPE capacity per day and the growth. Okay. So the first March was zero, of course. That was not a zero. There was something. They're showing that first March 2020 was a zero, but within a span of, you can say, maybe 3 months or 4 months, has gone up to 450,000 pieces manufacturing. So this is the scale that we have achieved, and this is just because of the our motivation or maybe willingness to do, and all the companies that are contributing in this particularly to manufacture such scale. Apart from this, what are the types that we are looking at? So, of course, there are industrial PPE, healthcare PPE, and consumer PPE. To consider this, all the sectors need a really a good product. Okay, and if you see, in the case of healthcare PPE, there are many companies who are already started in the last 6 months, And consumer PPE, of course, the market was already there, and the industrial PPE. But considering that in the healthcare PPE, what is added? They added basically a face shield, then N95 mask, then goggles, then head cap, then gloves, and then uh, sh- shoe covers, and of course the entire coverall. So this era has given to think on different direction, and almost the companies who are not involved to think in this direction, they also have started the manufacturing. But what are the challenges? Okay, what are the market drives that are involved in this particularly? Increasing focus on product innovation and aesthetics. This is where we are little bit lacking today's scenario, where making more safe and secure product. See, so though we have, I mean, like health department has given a right to manufacture and start immediately, but ultimately what is lacking is there a secure product. So many companies, they are following the norms which are provided by the healthcare department, but most of the companies, they are not even following a single norm to make a secure product. What is needed? Needed is the creative, innovative, and the what is the requirement is the creating innovative coatings. What are the innovative coatings that are required? Let's say if I want to wear the PPE coat, but today's challenge is that PPE coat should be breathable, so I can wear it for a longer time, and that is missing. So where we need the innovation, the innovator should come forward and create a innovative coating where the PPE kit or maybe that coat or suit can be very comfortable to wear, so I can wear it for a longer time, making more breathable. That is what I'm talking about, and also washable and reusable. It should not be a one-time use. It should be a washable and reusable, so we can avoid the landfill problem. So see, I mean, today we are dumping a lot of masks, lot of PPE kit, lot of coveralls, lot of gloves. So where they will go? Ultimately, they will go to the landfills. So can we use them? Can we reuse them? Can we wash them? This is the challenge. Then, of course, a biodegradable and compostable. This is what the challenge is today. Okay. What are the innovation they are required? What are the problems the people should solve? It is first problem that is coming up is the biodegradability and the compostable material. Of course, antiviral and antibacterial is a necessity and necessary requirement whatever you do in today's scenario. So basically, if you see a business model here, can we make a PPE or the material can be biodegradable and the compostable? Then it can be washable and the reusable, making more breathable fabric. These are the requirements where people can work on. So what are the marketing uh, changes? So availability of the low cost, uncertified, and what are the market challenges? Market challenges are basically availability of low cost, then uncertified and substandard product. See, we always demand for the low cost, but it is not something that you ask for kitna deti hai. No, you cannot play a role with you cannot play with the health. Okay, low cost means it is not necessary that low cost will have uncertified and substandard product, but with today's scenario, you can see the people they are selling uh, the materials at very low cost, but the standards are very low. So it is not for everyone. People can sell at low cost, but the standards should be maintained. But this is not happening today. Certified products are very few in the market. Quality check and certification, they are very minimal. Good manufacturing practices, never maintained, and awareness and the product details. Considering certified quality check and certification, good manufacturing practice, it was not there earlier also, and today is also not there because of our manufacturing companies always lack these practices. We have some constraint, of course, I agree with that, but we have to in healthcare should have the good manufacturing practices. So where is the challenge comes? Challenge and demand is here. Good manufacturing practices. We need a startup companies who can give us a affordable and practical solution where the good manufacturing practices can be adopted. In quality check and certification, though we have a standards and they are very minimal, we have to have the startup companies who can give us the quality check and certification standards. Today, whenever if somebody wants to go for the quality check and the certification, we always hire agents because we always below that agent has everything known. But of course, believe on me, agent have a very minimal knowledge in this particular fields. So what we can do, one can work on this particular area where the solution can be provided for the quality check and the certification. This is what is the area where the pandemic situation can be converted into the basically a problem solution. Awareness and the product details. So what is the awareness and product details? So basically the problem is the if you see just in a week back, government have issued an order related to the wall mask. Okay. So earlier people demanded always that we need a filter mask. So this point is connected with the awareness and the product details. So product detail is what? Product is basically a N95 mask. And what is the awareness? Awareness is basically nobody knows what to wear and what not to be wear. Okay. There are many new rumors and everything is goes around. So people they always think that the mask which has the wall, that means that is only a filter and the entire mask is nothing but does the cover. But believe me, the people they started saying that I want a filter mask. If the wall is a filter, then you don't have to wear the mask. Just use that filter on your nose and use it. Okay. So I have given a statement around 3 months back that wall is just a non-written wall. Okay. The wall cannot be wear along with the mask in today's scenario because if any of the positive patient wears the mask, he is equally spreading the environment largely because when he going to exhale, that time the wall will open and the air which is coming from his breath, it will go as it is into the uh, surroundings. So basically that non-written wall works in a way that when you inhale, that time it will close. When you exhale, that time it will open without filtering the air. When you inhale, that time it is going to close. Now the again challenge is there. What is the challenge? Challenge that there is a membrane called a silicon membrane. Basically, a very thin film of silicon will be there in the mask in that wall. It should have a particular thickness. Whenever we are going to inhale, that time the particular thickness will block the air. But in Indian practices, the maintaining of thickness is never imagined by anyone, and they started giving any large thickness size. If the thickness is very thick, it won't close very nicely. It won't close completely. If in thickness is very thin, again it won't close correctly. So you don't have any check whether it is operational or whether it is not operational. Along with that, wall mask is only meant for the people who are who are working in the mining areas, not in the regular healthcare areas or maybe anywhere else. Okay, so this is how we can relate awareness and the product details. So today's awareness is requirement in the healthcare is basically providing a right information to the right people, and we should know what to be purchased and what should not be purchased. So integration of what are the market trends? So today market trends basically one cannot sell always and regularly from the outlets, or maybe you cannot go physically to purchase anything. So integration of e-commerce channels for the procurement of PPE. So here is the challenge. Can we create a platform where all kind of PPE will be available? Of course, people are doing it who started businesses in a one night for this particularly. Though the movement supply chain is very challenging today. So we have a e-commerce platform to sell the product, also government platform to sell the product at a large level. Government has the gem portal. Government then and now they have come up with the Arogya Path, the the activity by the CSIR labs. So whatever products have been developed by CSIR and DRDO, they have the one more platform for the e-commerce, you can say e-commerce platform to sell the product from the government portal, and that is called the Arogya Path. If you really want to purchase anything, you can also visit the Arogya Path platform where you can purchase the product at very lower cost. It is not something though you always have to go for the Flipkart, or you always have to go for the Amazon. You can also have the platform we call as a Arogya Path where you can easily get the this all the material at a lower cost. So what is the eSpin Nano-Tech initiative for this COVID-19 solution and step towards the societal benefit? This is what we have started now, and earlier, of course, this is our area where we are always working on it, but we always change our trend as per the requirement of the society. So, as I said, we need a reusable and washable. Okay, so we can avoid the waste. So, along with the IIT Kanpur, eSpin Nanotech, we got the funding from BST, and the funding is completely given to the IIT Kanpur to develop, and we are the commercial partner create the reusable and washable material of the nanofiber filter basically. What is the material is basically working? So material will have an anchoring capacity. Anchor means like, virus will come, there will be anchored of some molecules, it will anchor with the virus and it will hold the virus and it will kill the virus. This is what we have created and we are going to create. And basically, this is just recently supported project and we are in a process of, finalize the nano membranes as soon as possible. It should have a long lasting static charge. Why static charge is required? Because see, most of the nanofiber, most of the N95, N99 and other masks, surgical masks even, they are coming in the market, they are basically has the static charge membrane. That membrane we call as a melt-blown fabric, which has very high static charge, and that charge is created by the using a corona treatment. But when it comes in the wet condition, the charge decreases very fast. So our idea is to charge should not decrease very fast. It should be there at least for 6 months, and then easy to incorporate nanoparticles for antiviral and antibacterial activities. It should have reusable and washable properties. Of course, virus and bacteria deactivation. Today we always talk about virus and bacteria deactivation, virus and bacteria, antiviral and antibacterial. But today's requirement is not that only. Today's requirement is virus and bacteria deactivation. And what is that required? Because if let's say you have the mask and you roam around the places where the COVID is high, or maybe any virus is high risk, and you come to the home, whatever is absorbed by the mask on the surface, it is not killed by mini mask. Okay, if it is not killed, and let's say you are keeping somewhere else on the platform where anybody in your house can go and access it. So, as said by the WHO, that virus also can be settled on the surfaces of any surfaces where if you touch it, it will be transferred to the to the other people. Similarly, this also happens in the case of mask. Let's say if viruses get absorbed on the mask and it is not killed, it will have a high chance of risk that it is definitely going to transfer from one people to other people if just touching the mask by any X person. So just try to avoid that basically. So this is what we have developed in 95 mask with a high static charge, where we are using layer technology with melt-blown fabric. This is what eSpin is developing, basically called N99 mask, which will be in the market along with the IIT conference very soon. And what we have is the PM 2.5 particulate separation. It is not PM 2.5; it is a 200 nanometer particles. We have certified this material by Nelson Certification USA, and we're just trying to integrate this with the good design and everything. Of course, it has very good capacity, VAP and BAP, what we call 99% virus filtration efficiency, bacterial filtration efficiency. Then we have another mask called N95 grade mask in the market. This mask we have started manufacturing with IIT Kanpur. This is already in the market. We have recently tied up with the CSC. CSC is basically a common service center of Government of India, where this all outlets of CSCs, they basically are in the villages. So the people who are residing in the cities, they can easily buy the mask. But what happened to the people who are residing? I mean, who are residing in the areas of, like, let's say, villages? It is very hard to reach many places like that. But CSC has their outlets in many places. So our idea is to sell affordable with an affordable price to the people, where the people they can afford the mask. So CSC and we and IIT Kanpur selling this mask to the outlets where each individual of Indian can be reached, and they should be protected by using this mask. So of course, this has the same characteristic. What we are working on the another problems are basically, so this is the demand. Here you consider the talk is related to demand. So what is the demand? Demand is basically, but there are some challenges. Let's say we have the ventilator and the ventilator exhaust doesn't have antiviral and antibacterial filter. Let's say if I'm getting air and exhaling the air. When you exhale the air through the ventilator, it comes from the patient. When it comes from the patient and goes into the atmosphere, that time it doesn't have a good filtration system if it doesn't have. If it doesn't have, mostly all the ventilator, they comes with the HEPA filters. But of course, HEPA is only can filter a 2.5 micron filtration, not lower than that. So we are coming up with the filter where the filter can be attached with the ventilator exhaust, where it will deactivate virus and bacteria. So the chances of contamination in that particular environment will be very less. So our idea is to virus spread during the air ventilation should be stopped. So we are using Nanofiber for that particular ventilators, and it should have antibacterial, antiviral deactivation, not only anti, but it should have the deactivation properties where they will be killed immediately when it is the air will be exhaled. Similarly, this PPE kit we called as a positive pressure PPE kit. So this positive pressure PPE kit called to be a very nice PPE kit where, because you can wear it for a very long time and it is also reusable. But what happens, let's say if the filter which are attached here, and this is called the positive pressure pump. So positive pressure pumps take the air from the environment and the air will be filtered and the air will go into the PPE suit. But let's say if this filter is not very good, what will happen? So ultimately, it will take a contaminated air and it will pass through it. So idea is to create a nanofiber filter here. So in order to provide a very clean environment, clean air circulation through the PPE kit. So this is also a demand, today's demand. Earlier it was not. Earlier it used to say basically called, you can use HEPA filter, but today everybody talks about, earlier it was the bacterial, antibacterial. No, today everybody is talking about antiviral. The bacteria is far away from now. So we always talk antiviral. So this is basically a requirement today. Of course, so as I said that can we use a suit which has very breathable comfort. Okay, so one can use it for a longer time. Excuse me. So the challenge is, can we make highly breathable fabric with antiviral and antibacterial coating? So today, this suits basically, if you start using it, and our doesn't need that, or all our hospitals has the good air conditioning. If it is the case, then you don't have to change always. I mean, you can feel comfortable. But there are many hospitals they really don't have very good conditioning. So in that case, if you wear the PPE kit, but it has a very low breathing capacity, then the doctor or maybe the frontier workers who are using it, they will feel a very uncomfortable. So our idea is to coat a nano layer, so one can reduce the thickness of the PP layer, and on top of that, we are going to coat a nanofiber layer. The nanofiber layer will be again deactivation of virus and bacteria. It will filter out virus and bacteria, and then it will be basically used as a breathable fabric. So one can use it for a longer time. So nanofiber technology, innovation and supply. That is how. So this is basically a nanofiber. How does it look like? So this has the kind of the picture shows. This is basically human hair. How does it look like? Or maybe you can say how it can be applied. So basically, how the nanofiber they look like. This is the basically area you can see nanofibers, and this is basically human hair. So you can see the scale difference. In that particular photo, half of the portion is covered by the human hair, but maximum portion is covered by the human hair, and underneath of that there are billions of nanofibers which is covered. So it is basically a scale down of bigger size to the smaller size. When you scale down the smaller size, that time you have many things like surface area, higher surface area, low density, but low density in the particular area, high for volume, and appropriate for wide range of application. And what are those applications? Basically, Those applications are including uh, uh, environment, electronics, energy, defense, health, automotive, and building and consumer. These are the applications basically used. And how this nanofiber will be created? Basically, we have a technology which we started during my PhD that called the electrospinning technique. Using this technique, we are creating the nanofibers. Here, the technique works very simple way that you have two electrode. One is the positive electrode, one is the negative electrode. Where you can use the polymer solution as a melt and apply the high voltage. During the application of high voltage, the polymer will get stretched along with the high electric field, and whatever solvent is there, it will get immediately evaporated. At the end, you will get a nanofiber rods, and those nanofiber rods we are using for the various applications. So, what are the applications that we are also targeting in this year? They are basically um, air filters, then mask. Of course, there is mask is there in the market, and the AC cabin air filters for the automobile. So today, considering automobile is also a very contaminated area, there we always, there are a lot of contamination happens. We never know, but the filters in the automobile cars, they are not very efficient. So idea is to, provide antiviral and antibacterial uh, filter also. And this is what we have tested, like, pollen, oil, common dust, large particle, and particles, fungal pores, and ultrafine soot particles and bacteria on the surfaces of nanofibers, whether they are effective for this particular stuff or not. And we can see this is very easily separable. And thank you so much. And this is what Dr. Ashok Kumar was saying about this thing. And of course, thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sandip. Now we will have some of the questions. Let me check. Participant, we request you to ask a question. The session is open for the questions. So you can write in the chat box. Okay,
Where to check?
yeah, Sandeep, till we are participant taking time, and then I cannot see the question. They may take time, but till then I will ask the question to you.
There is, sorry to interrupt, sir. There is one question. I'm just forwarding it to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so excellent session, sir. What is the tentative cost of the mask using nanofiber?
So our nanofiber mask is yet to come. We are working on the costing, but it should not will go more than 100 rupees in the retail. So we will not. We are trying our hard to achieve the minimum cost, because this is an initiative not only by the ESPN but also IIT Kanpur and ESPN and the DST to support the this kind of manufacturing. So it should not be more than 100 rupees.
Yeah. So I have the question, Sandeep.
Yeah, please.
You have the offices and the three countries, like
Yeah.
Korea, Canada. Yeah. So how you will monitor the demand there? Now you are selling some of the product. You can give some idea so we will know. And then how you increase the demand there? Means what kind of strategy you follow?
Yeah. So demand is something like we have a tie-up with their local companies. Okay, it is not something only eSpin is have the company. No, we have the tie-up with the local companies, and we always connected with the local companies. So local company gives us the demand, and we supply.
Yeah. Then now we have another question about this. So this is Saurabh Patak. What will be the cost of nanofiber PPE as compared to conventional PPE?
So commercial angle we have never explored it. Okay, this is whatever we have shown. That is basically that we are working on it. It is not commercially available in the market. So giving any value here will be not right. So of course, but it will not cost very high. It is not like double of the regular cost. No, it won't be. It is very one process will whatever cost of the manufacturing process will be added, only added that, not more than that. I mean nothing more.
So this question is from Krishna. Very inspiring lecture. Thank you, sir. How the antibacterial surfaces are generated?
So there are many methods. I mean, earlier it was like, people used to use only silver materials to create the antibacterial, but there was a lot of people who started working on it. So there are materials available. Like one of the material is very good material, like uh, chitosan is the one material where you can use the antibacterial material. Then there are many materials available in the market, or you can synthesis in your lab if you want. So basically, it is not one material that I can say yes, this is only antibacterial. There are many material that those are basically antibacterial, and few I have given already. Some metal particles and some polymers.
So this question is from Salish Kumar Trivedi, and he want to know, as you mentioned, the nanofibers are biodegradable and reusable. What is the reusable life of nanofibers mask and PPE?
So see, we have used for the 100 hours and more than that. Still, we are using some of the masks that we have created based on nanofibers, and that is why still we are trying it. So as I said, they will be washable. Washable means you can use a warm water, just add the mask in the warm water, just clean it and take it out and dry under sun. So the life that we have tested at least for 15 to 20 days, and it works fantastically good. But we still want to step further. At least for a month, it should go.
And we have another question from Nitin Kumar. Do you have any plans of collaboration with local mask producing units?
I already having my own mass production unit, so that window is really there not. But yes, of course, if our production and scale goes, we are definitely would like to go with the local production units. But I have mentioned one thing very clearly in my presentation: the good manufacturing practice and the healthy practicing in the manufacturing, which we lack today. So if the collaboration with a good company which really have the good manufacturing practice, then we can do it.
So we have another question from Ravi Prakash Tiwari. Can you give address for producing for procuring? This question is means you can just answer how they can buy the electro spinning machine or what is the cost. So there are two questions.
You visit my company.
Yeah, cost and how they can buy this.
Yeah, first machine, electro spinning machine. You visit my website espinnanotech.com. You will get all the information. espinnanotech.com. You will get all the information. Just write Espin Nanotech on the Google. You will get the information.
So Sandip, can you please give some idea? Like for example, we take the mask, so only for not talking about the other product. So what is the demand in several countries? If you we target India and other countries, so how much you supply in India and how much in abroad?
So the demand is very large in India. Abroad, we cannot say today because we cannot export it. This is a ban by the government of India that we cannot export outside, because whatever we are producing in India, that should be supplied to Indian people, because there should not be a lack of supply. Because of, if you start exporting it, so everybody will start exporting it. Okay. So what happens? The white list will be created in India. So mostly what happening today, there is a lot of demand by the customer. Good mask. Okay, there are masks available. 10 रुपए में मिलेगा, 15 में मिलेगा, 20 रुपए में मिल जाएगा. Okay, so there is a range. You can get anything, whatever you want. Okay, but still there is a demand. That demand is large. Okay, we are selling mostly maybe every day around 15,000 masks from our IIT Kanpur facility, and from we have one manufacturing facility in Ahmedabad. From there, around 15,000 masks every day. So every day, like 30 to 40,000. That is what demand, and people they buy it easily, regularly.
Yeah. So Sandeep, I'm again reading one sentence from your this interview that often Sandeep and his siblings have to go the to bed without food. And
Yeah.
then how you got motivated to this kind of this company? So this will be really some motivation to the participant or me as well. So how this open the company and spin tech reach to IIT, and then so can you tell something about this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, one thing must be adapted in our life is that uh, uh, we always taught in a way that think out of the box. Okay. But if you see, actually, there is no box. Okay. You can imagine whatever you want. So exclude the limit that there is no box, first of all. Secondly, uh, this is all entire episode happened only when I came to the IIT Kanpur, because uh, the IIT Kanpur was completely new to me. And when I was doing BTech, I don't know what is there in such institutions also there in India, like IITs. I never heard about it. So when I completed my BTech from University Jalgaon, then I got admitted as a MTech admission in MS University Baroda. Then I came to know that there are very prestigious institutes that exist in India and called IITs. Then I started dreaming it that I can get admission. So I always dreamed that I want to do a PhD, because that was like I always interacted with many teachers during my BTech and MTech also. All of them having the doctorate degree. So I wanted to have the doctorate degree in front of me. So that is how it started. So when I came to the MS University Baroda, then I came to know once you complete the MTech, and then you can easily go to the PhD and do the research. That is how I chosen IIT Kanpur under Professor Ashutosh Sharma. When I joined here, I realized that whatever we are doing in the lab, that is not getting translated into the societal benefits. Let's say many of my colleagues, once you finish the PhD, most of them, 99%, they always go abroad for the postdoctoral study. And when once they come back, they always joining the institutions. It is not bad. But what is happening? Every year we are producing more than 1,000 PhD theses. That means every year we are creating a lot of knowledge based. Every year we are innovating new things. But what happening those new things? They are really not transferring from the lab to the commercial level. And there is a very good term in the science, and that we call a value of death. You just Google it, value of death. And the value of death is basically not something that value of death is meant for the people. The value of death is basically a valley where all good ideas they getting died in that valley, because the industries are other side and the institutions are other side. From the institutions, nothing is transferred to the industry side because we have some constraint, both of us. Industries, they never freely interacting with the industries. Institutions, they are not freely interacting with the industries, and industries they never like to freely interact with. They share the knowledge base to the institutions. So the whatever things happens, the value of death that everything is died. So when I created this machine, I thought that this machine can be a good business. And I told my professor that I want to start. And he asked me a very simple question, that why you want to start? Then I said, I want to start is because I cannot teach. If I cannot teach, I cannot be a teacher. Then I don't want to go for the postdoc and come back for the teaching. So I want to start something where I can serve the people. And it is not only I'm running a company, we do a lot of social work also from the company for the, to help the people. So from that perspective, the thesis, whatever research I have done during my PhD, and I thought that I will create the commercial angle of nanotechnology where the people will be benefited. And you can see today, whatever we have done that time in 2010 or 13, whatever coatings we have developed that we could be able to use it today. Let's say if I could have not started it, might be it is very late, or maybe we may not able to commercialize in a larger way. So idea was to I knew my weaknesses that I cannot teach, but I can innovate and I can manufacture. So that's how we started. And it is, of course, the inspiration of my PhD thesis. advisor that he always wanted to have someone that one can get a different path rather than the regular path. Regular path is like, we always get a doctorate degree, we always go for the postdoc, come back, and we are, be a teacher or maybe a professor or maybe a researcher, and that was the reason. Then of course, like, you can create a big name and fame, and you can also create the money if you're successful in your life and in business life. So that's how, I mean, there is a lot of stories was written. If you guys will get a time, just to click and search Sandip Patil IIT Kanpur, all stories will be written over there. So many newspapers, they have taken the interviews and they have written all my journey from from village to the IITs. So you will get a lot of information there, where how I got inspired, from that prospect. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sandeep, very much for this nice presentation and nice information, and also this your story is really motivating, and maybe me, including the other participants, they will get motivated for doing
Thank you
something.
so much. I hope so.
Yeah.
Any help somebody wants, any help from my side, I will definitely help. It is not something I only run the company. You won't believe, every month the people used to call me to, just to help in a business angle, how to start, or maybe from there to start, what to do. And I always get interacted with many people for the particular, advising. So it is not the something that we need something to have mentioned somewhere else. No, you can call me anytime if you want to have that particular angle. Always. For your information, I must tell you here. Uh, During my this advising, or maybe the tenure, I have almost 10 people have left their job and they started the company. Okay, so and they are successful basically. Okay, so this is what basically we do mostly, and even innovation and the research perspective. My company, it is not we charge for everyone. Okay, so there was a company from there was a institute from south. We have supplied the free machine for their research work. They can do the research work freely because they told me that they don't have fund. And I said, you can send your student in my company, or otherwise you can get a small machine for your research and you do your research. Even uh, many research students who are involved in university research, they don't have facilities. My company, if they want to work in nanofiber domain, we always open door for them to come and do the research, and we are not charging a single penny to them. Yeah.
Yeah, Sandeep, one last question. This we are running short of time, but I can request you to quickly answer. This is about the first is appreciation. Thank you very much for relevant and fruitful presentation. Then next question is, will you allow diploma holders to take interest in your esteem organization?
Absolutely.
Dr. Sandip,
Hello, sir.
yeah, good to see you. Actually, I'm really pleased to hear about you, and your friend Ashok is here. But at the same time, it is an open-end invitation from Nano-Tech Chandigarh. If you would like to set up a company, I'm ready to give you a space here. Also, give you the support system. So explore, because this zone, especially your type of research. If I look into my immediate neighborhood like Himachal, Uttarakhand, and Haryana and Punjab,
Yes, sir.
potential people are available. Strength is also like it is internationally comparable strength they are having. And only thing is that if you people, a person like your attitude, your determination, if they take a front seat here, then a lot of transformation is possible in this side. So I give you an open invitation to Nano-Tech Chandigarh. So if you would like to set up a extension unit of your company, we'll give you the full support here, because the culture of this institute now is having equal partnership. We believe in equity. We believe in economic business model of educational approach. So therefore, you may not like the commercial angle of educational thought process, but it is a reality. We have to survive. So when the equity approach of education systems I am thinking, I don't see a better person like you, more than
Thank you, sir.
better person than like you, because you are a person with struggle and you understand the market. You are coming up as a successful entrepreneur or company person. So that way, we being an established institute of 50 years, would like to definitely go in hand with you. So think over it, and your
Sure,
friend
sir.
is already there to facilitate this system.
Thank you so much, sir.
Best wishes. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for your offer. Definitely, I'll think positively.
Thank you very much, Sandip, yeah, for taking this session. Yeah.